Yeah. I'm serious right now. I'm speaking my heart on this record. Finally I started seeing things as they were. All that you said was nothing but words. So I chopped it up to face the truth. Everything you did was all for you. What you mean, don't take it personal. I gave up all of me and more. You said you would never leave, and you said you would never go, and you said you would always be there for me, for me, for me. Everybody's telling me just move on, but they don't know my love is strong, so strong. It's deeper than the eye can see. But what you really mean to me? What you mean to me? What you mean? Don't take it personal. I gave up all of me and more. But what you mean? Don't take it personal. I gave up all of me and more and more. You said you would never leave, and you said you would never go, and you said you would always be there for me, for me, for me. I never thought that I would have to let you go, but come to find out you were never mine. After all this time, so many years in my life, I come to find out you were never mine. I was holding on, didn't wanna let go. After all these years, you were my heart and soul. I found out I gotta let you go, 'cause I can't hold on, can't hold on. Baby, I'm still hurting. You said you would never leave, and you said you would never go, and you said you would always be there for me, for me, for me. What you mean, don't take it personal. I gave up all of me and more. What you mean, don't take it personal. Baby, baby.
Yo, what's going on? Welcome to Pam's World. What's going on, y'all? What you mean? Don't take it personal. I gave up all of me and more. Hey, yo, check it out, Pam's World. I don't know if y'all was at the show. A shout out to everybody who came out Friday when it was Black Friday, when you could have been shopping. You was in the building at the E Hotel. Shout out to Laugh Entertainment Mix Squad. Shout out to DJ. Thank y'all for coming out and supporting your girl. It was amazing. I had a great time. And so listen, for those who have tuned in, let me get right tuned into P Girl on Pam's World tonight with JB on Spudoids. Yes. And then those who actually watch Pam's World, if this is not your first time experiencing us, actually to my left would be our girl D. She's not here, aka Pastor. She is actually doing some things that she has to do right about now. So she definitely is with us in spirit. Shout out to Pastor. We miss you. We love you. Looking forward to you being back in the building. But as of right now, JB and I are going to hold it down. We're going to hold the fork down. You holding it down with me, JB?
Yes.
You already know what it is. So welcome, y'all. Welcome to Pam's World. It's good to be back in your face. I hope that you had a great great
Thanksgiving.
You know, I was trying to get it together. Thank you, JBC. That's what I mean by holding it down. I couldn't even get the words out, and she grabbed onto it. She knew exactly what your girl was trying to say. I'm trying to find a little tunes right now, get the tunes together, put something in your ear as we talk, because you know sometimes the air in the back, you just need something to help you to get on sometimes. You know how you riding in your car and you need that little music in the background. There we go. So yes. Yo, let me know how Thanksgiving was for y'all. Let me know what you thankful for. Today actually, you know, I'm gonna slide a little bit. This is where we talk about did you go to church today? And of course I had the babies today, and I had an opportunity of talking with them, and we talked about being thankful, and I just wanted their perspective on what they were thankful for. Some said they were thankful for food. They were thankful for mommy. They were thankful for daddy, family, friends. They were thankful for God. They was just like, I thank God. I'm thankful to God. And so I just want to, even in just the spirit of Thanksgiving and all of those things, I just want to know, what are you thankful for? And I began to just talk to them about me being thankful for God changing my life, because he is my everything. And without him, there is no me. And that's the truth, and that's the same thing with all of us. If you're watching or if you're listening, look, we are nothing without God. Yes, I'm learning how to begin to give God thanks for everything, in everything, not for everything, because sometimes life comes and it's real hard, and it's just like you say to yourself, how can I thank God for this? But you don't have to thank him for those things that sometimes appear to be bad. What it is that you can thank him in it, because he's still worthy at all times. So, all right, y'all already know what it is. I can go on and on and on, but I am also thankful for y'all tuning in, because if you wasn't tuning in, we'll be just sitting here with a camera on us, but nobody watching. But I really do thank everybody for watching, weighing in, because it matters when you speak back to us, because I want to know what you feel, what you thinking, what's on your mind. So that's what I'm thankful for, and so many other things. But I just wanted to break it down just like that a little bit. All right, JB, right. Talk to me. Was you in church today?
Yes,
where was you at? Where was you in the building?
It was interesting sermon. But both basically the piece that I took away from it was having faith and being hopeful. Okay. And how prayer can change things. So just because something has been said or something is supposed to happen doesn't mean sometimes you just need to take it. Okay. You can pray and ask God, because God can sometimes change his mind. So we talked about David. And how David, he committed sin, and he had stolen another man's wife, killed the man. The Bible is very interesting if you want to read it. I'm telling you, it is very interesting. More interesting than anything you could ever watch on television. Absolutely. But nonetheless, God told him, because of his actions, that the baby that he had birthed was going to die. So, David immediately started fasting and praying. And then once he found out the baby was he got up, ate, went to worship, ate, and got dressed, in different orders, but you know what I mean? Yes. And then it talked about how in Isaiah, how Hezekiah was told that this was going to lead to death. But he went to God and he prayed, and God gave him 15 more years. So it kind of was showing you that just because something is supposed to be, that doesn't mean you give up. You know what I mean? You have to have some hope. You have to have some faith. You have to still pray. So there was a lot of other things that was spoken about, but that was the piece that stood out to me more so than anything. Maybe because of things that have been said to me and over me, that those things resonated most.
Wow, that's good. And you know what? It's a beautiful thing to be able to not only hear about God's his love and his mercy, but to experience that, and it's a beautiful thing, because look at it. David, honestly, back then it was warranted to die. You done slept with you done killed somebody, you had somebody killed, you slept with the wife, you not only that, y'all got a baby on the way, and then also even with Hezekiah, you gonna die. But God is merciful. You know what I mean? God is so merciful, and he knows the heart, and that's the thing about it. I really, truly, honestly, I love God. I'm looking forward to getting into the sermon and looking at it myself. So it really is just an awesome thing to know that God's love is just so, it extends. The kids and I spoke about it today. It endures forever. You know what I mean? The endurance of his love, the way he puts up with us is amazing. All right, I want to give some shout outs real quick. Shout out to Jay Smooth. I see you, bro. Thank you. I love you so much as well. I really appreciate you, Jay. I appreciate Pam is in the building. James is in the building. Tam's in the building. Mother Thompson, Shaquan, he is in the building. I see Norm. Oh yeah, you already know what it is. Them Giants lost. Yes, Kiki
come
is in
Thursday.
the building.
Come Thursday.
Mark is in the building. Shakira is in the building. So yes.
Sharif is in the building. I see Kiki is in the building.
On.
Thank you guys so much for checking in.
Yes.
Thank you so much for listening. Again, Nikki's and Nicole is in the building.
Come on.
All right. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And as Pam has already stated, we are so thankful for each and every one of you for taking the time to listen and to chime in and to be here and to share and to be a part of Pam's World from 7 to 9.
Yes, absolutely. And it feels good. You know what? Sometimes my thing is that it really is an opportunity to really be able to just chit chat. You know how sometimes like it's things that you want to say or things that sometimes you don't even know that you need that comes out on this show. And that's what I like about Pam's World. I really do, because the things that the people put up is just like it makes you look, and then it's things that it is that you say or things that you know that gotta drop right in the midst of the show, and it's just like, yo, it's meeting needs are being met, people are being helped, people are laughing, some people are crying. It's just like so many things that I can honestly say that I'm experiencing here on Pam's World that's helping me as well. You know, it's helping me to become a better person, and I hope that in return it's doing something for somebody else. But I know as far as myself, it's just like there are some things that has changed within me from being here.
Amen.
You know, so I'm thankful for that. I'm definitely thankful. That's my thanks. That's my thanks. Hey, listen, I also want to talk about, I want to slide a little bit, because y'all know what we do here on Pam's World. I want to slide a little bit, and I want to talk about this Takashi. How do you say his name? 6ix9ine?
Just a 6ix9ine.
Okay. Oh, say it again. Takashi 6ix9ine. I want to talk about it. You know what? I look at this young dude, and it's just like you could tell like he got a lot going on with his life. No shade at all, but there's a lot of things that you see him getting in a lot of trouble a lot, and he recently got arrested again, and based upon him being arrested, they were saying something. Last time when he was in court, they were talking about how he was in court, he was shaking, he was very scared, all of these things. And now they have the inmates are upset because he's in jail again.
He has special treatment. And
they're giving him special treatment. They have him away from everybody else. And it kind of just makes me, and I'm smiling because it's a part of me that's saying to myself, when we on the streets, it goes to show that we have to stop trying to put on this facade of a person, of who we want people to believe that we are, or who we have in our heads, this made up person. Because if you bout it, then be bout it. Because somewhere along the line, somebody said we're going to give you special treatment. That had to be something that you spoke about with your lawyer or something or whatever. Because it's just like, listen, when Pac went to jail, Pac went to jail.
He had special treatment too. He wasn't in. I mean, and what I mean by special treatment, that means that you just not you're kind of isolated. You're like, you know, you're kind of isolated, and Pac was kind of isolated. He wasn't like what you call that, general population.
Shine wasn't general.
Well,
population.
I'm not talking about Shine. I know for certain about Pac.
Okay, well I'm gonna say Shine.
Okay,
I say Shine. Then Shine is, if you about that life. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is the stuff that I say. If you bout that, Joyce, if you bout that life, then be about that life always. That's my only situation.
It's not always that. It might not even be him that requested it. And that's all I'm saying is sometimes it's not even them that's requesting it. It could be that right now.
Yes, he is. He is, Kelly. I'm sorry.
Oh, it could be that, you know, they don't want him to be in certain gangs. Like certain gangs, they separate the people. He's in a known gang. Also too, they might be still trying to flip him on some, getting him to tell on other people. And supposedly in another article about him, there's some talk about him being moved to a federal prison where they normally move the people who are willing to talk. So like there could be a lot of reasons why the people get treated certain ways. So I mean, and the article didn't, at least for me, the article did not say certain things. But also you have to remember, he's also a sex predator. Yeah,
absolutely.
And normally sex predators get ate up in jail.
Absolutely.
So
all the way.
But also too, sex predators are normally given special treatment. They try to keep them out of. They try to keep them out of general pop because they know these types of things happen. They don't.
But you got that one CEO, that one correctional officer, that will say, "Listen, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna turn my back.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna let you out.
I'm not saying
what happens.
I'm not saying right or wrong, but what I'm saying is death and beating and killing, regardless of who, is still not.
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying that it goes down.
Yeah, I'm not saying it doesn't, but I'm just saying in this case, to put him in a place where you know certain things are going to happen, I mean, he might. All I'm saying is in this case, he might not have gone in saying, please, please, please give me, you know. It could just be because of this trial is a racketeering trial, and they're probably looking at somebody much higher than him. They don't want him to be a casualty of some situations before that happens.
Right, and you know what, JB, I hear what you're saying. I'm just looking back on what they said about his court when he was sitting in court. If you're going to be this whole gangster, and this is the thing, Mike said it on here, and I love what he said. Kelly said it. She said it's so sad. He's such a broken little boy, which I truly believe the same. His whole gangster life is a front. I pray for him regularly. And Mike said, if we pretend to be something that we aren't for so long, soon we will forget who we really are. We become lost. And that's so true. And it's true. It's just like at the end of the day, it's just like, of course, I don't want anything to happen to the young man. I want to see him get himself together. I want to see his life be on track, of course, with the Lord. You know what I mean? I want to see him love himself enough to be like, you know what, I don't have to be doing what I'm doing. Also, I say in the same breath, there is this when you play with fire, you get burned. It's just like if you play with it long enough, you will get burned. And it's just like, it just goes to show who he really is at the core, because for you to be in court and they're saying how scared you were, that you're shaking and that you're going through this and that you're going through all of those things, it show that at the core of who you really are, you're not built like that. You putting on something that can cost you everything, cost you your freedom, cost you your life. And it's just like, I look at it, and that's what makes me shake my head. By no means do I want to see this young man be hurt in any kind of way. I want to see him be okay. At the same time too, I'm saying, if you live in that, then listen, General Pop. That's how I see it. If I was living it, Pamela, you want to live that? Okay. So when you put you in General Pop, it's General Pop.
Okay.
Pretty much. So if y'all don't agree with me, please let me know, because I told y'all this Pam's world. Pam's thoughts, Pam's view, but at the same time too, does not mean that Pam is right. It just means that Pam has an opinion. So absolutely. So JB, I definitely hear you on that one. I definitely hear you now. All right. Of course, JB, you sent me this article. I want to slide a little bit. JB sent me this article about this young lady, a lawyer, very beautiful woman. The guy that she began to date, he didn't have a job at the time. She said, and he had a kid, and she said it was the best decision that she ever made in her life, was to date a guy who did not have a job. And what it is that she began to love herself. She was saying that she did not want a relationship. She wasn't looking for a relationship. And she just, one day she met this guy. I'm trying to just paraphrase it a little bit. She met this guy, and they sat down, and she began to talk to him, and he told her his dreams and aspirations, and she believed in him, and she began to date him, and she fell in love with him, and for how many months was it? Was it 6 months or so?
A couple months.
A couple of months.
But they knew each other for a long time. They just never dated.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And so with all of that being said, they got together. He got the job. Everything flourished. They're married. They've been married for a few years now. I believe it's 3, if I'm not mistaken.
I'm not sure how long they've been married. I know definitely they were dating before they got married.
Right. And so with all of that being said, she said that dating a guy without a job or and also with him having a child was the best decision that she's ever made. And first saw the title, I was just like, hold up a minute. What? It didn't register with me.
But there was one other key piece. Remember that he also lived a distance.
Right.
It was he also was a long distance
relationship. So that kind of, I was like, huh? I was like, okay, wait. But as the story unfolded, and it was just like they are together, you know, thank God, and he actually fulfilled, you know what I mean, his what it is that he was going after. Like it really was something truly. It goes to show that it was a plan that was made and destined for his life. And so with all of that being said, I my question is, could you do it? And I pose this to the fellas as well too. If it was a woman that had a child and she wasn't working, it was long distance, and what would you do? If you want to call in, 646-233-1302, 646-233-1302. Now, JB, before I give my opinion,
give your opinion.
All right. Boom. Honestly, could I date a guy that wasn't working? No. And my reason being is because, listen, it's hiring. White Castle is hiring. Burger King. It is what it is. And me personally, I truly, I'm not trying to come at nobody any kind of way. But what it is that I say start somewhere. If you have something, like me personally, I feel like you can find love anywhere, you know, and it doesn't have to be that they're working this job and they making all this money for me. Because listen, if I fall for a guy that work at Walmart, then listen, baby, are you planning to stay at Walmart? Okay, so then if you're planning to stay here, then how about you owning a Walmart? You know what I mean? It's just like, my thing is that it's tiers to it. It's, you know, you can always build on something. And it's just like sometimes you can meet somebody when they're in the midst of some things. So it's just like I'm learning that sometimes the best thing is to let somebody go through something, because it's just like I'm the fixer. I've always been the fixer in so many different areas. Thank God that I've never been a fixer when it came to that. And I wouldn't have been there. Something that I wouldn't have done. But like I said, I can be with somebody who works. Pamela, you know what I mean? What people deem as Pam from Total. I'm Pamela Long. I'm Judy's daughter. You know what I mean? And Pam can fall for a guy that works at Burger King, and it's just like he can be mopping the floors. And if that's something that God has meant for me to have in my life, then by all means, like, it doesn't matter where he's working at. It's just like, what are you working towards for me? Yeah.
The thing is, the article itself, the title is kind of misleading, right? Yeah. The article. When you read the article, though, it talks about how he had goals and aspirations, and he had saved up his money to support his dream. So it was not just that he did not have a job. He had money saved to go after his dream. Like, he wasn't trying to live off of her to be who he, you know what I mean? Like, he wasn't living off of her to try to be who he needed to be. So I think that's the key here, right? For me anyway, the key here is that he had money saved. This was a plan of his. He just so happened to meet this young lady and decide to start dating her in the midst of his plan. I never got the sense from the article that she was funding his life. Does that make sense? And he eventually met those goals. Like, you know what I mean? He's eventually, you know, reached the goals that he was trying to make. And what I found in this article to really point out is that don't put people in a box. What I mean by that is like when people think of someone having no job, you just put them in a box saying, oh, no job, no future, can't deal with it. And this guy had no job, but he had a future. He had money to fund his future. Like, you know what I mean? Like he planned this. And so, and vice versa. Sometimes people meet a man that has it all. They have the money, they have the car, and they don't realize that that's all glitz and glamour. Everything is leased, everything is loaned. It looks like he has that perfect lifestyle. You get what I'm saying? You know, he has no kids that he's told you about. Like, you know what I'm saying? So sometimes we get so hung up on we've been so hung up on what we perceive to be like, because there are some people who read that article title and they was like, I'm gonna support my man. He don't have no job either. I'm gonna support him, but he has no job. He has no money saved. He has no ambition. He has no goals. That's very different than this young man that had no job and a child. And that's what I'm saying is it's not it's not such a black and white all the time. And that, to me, this, if not for nothing, this article, and I'll post it in the link if people want to read it. This article for me was very eye-opening, where you can't just judge a book by its cover. Like, I think he had over 500K saved, so he wasn't living off her. You get what I'm saying? But if you read the title, it's like, man with no job, and she just, you know, she wasn't slumming it. You get what I'm saying? It wasn't like they was sleeping on mattresses on the floor, but it's just like, sometimes you got to take a chance. Sometimes you got to go outside your comfort zone. Sometimes you may have to do something that does not look the way that it's supposed to be. But if you know that, you know, God's in the mix, or, you know, it's where you feel comfort in your spirit, all of these types of things, then you go for it. But in this case, the article title is very misleading. If you don't read it, you would have that mindset. Like, you know what? I don't want to be with nobody who doesn't work. I don't want to be anybody who feels as though it's okay to sit at home and do nothing. But even though he wasn't working, he to me, I didn't get the sense that was his stance. Does that make sense? Right.
And I definitely, and I get it. At the same time too, it's just like, you know, me personally, that's my, you know what I mean, that personal thing for me. It's just like, I've seen, let me just talk about some of the things that I've seen. I've seen men live off of women.
True.
I've seen that. And it's not to say that it's not vice versa. You know what I mean? I've seen it. And that's something that I know that I don't want. You know, I don't want to deal with it. So it's just like, you know, the allowance of allowing somebody to become, it's not a judgment from me. It's just my preference. You know what I mean? It's just my preference.
Well, there's a question asked of you. It says, Pam said she wouldn't be with a man that without a job. What if he had a job and got laid off? Would you leave them if they couldn't find another?
Nah, would I leave? No. Now, if we together, like, listen, if we together, am I going to just pick up and just leave because you don't have a job? But if you're not doing anything to get a job, then that's an issue for me. Like, I'm not going to sit back and take care of anybody. That's just something that I'm not going to do. Now, if we're together and we're hurting together, we going through together, but it's just like you've become comfortable in just being that way, or, you know, I'm trying. I don't see you out every day. If you going at it, and if you going to do what it is that needs to be done, that's a different story. Like I said, I'm the one that says you can start from a Burger King sense. I know what it's like to work at a fast food place. I know what it's like to be and then find yourself in a place where it's just like you don't know what to do next. I was that girl that had to and pretty much a lot of people don't know this about me, but there was a time when Total was on top and we was doing what it is that we were doing, And it was just like God put a halt in my career. It wasn't nobody else. It was God. He stopped it. And for a moment, I was sitting at home. I was doing nothing because I didn't think that I could. And all I could say to God was that, all right, you know what, God, humble me. Whatever you, and I did not have to go this route, but chose to. I went to White Castles and started working at White Castles from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. Why did I do it? Because of the fact that I wanted for God to humble me. And I said to God, God, if I walk through this door and I get hired, I know it's you. They hired me on the spot. I began to cry when I left because I knew that it was something that I had to do. So it's just like, yo, listen, it doesn't matter. So I went through that whole thing. I was humiliated all over the radio. People walking in White Castles just looking at me was like, yep, that's her walking out. So my thing is that, yo, listen, I know I'm not in a place of judgment. I'm not in a place of looking at anybody any sort of kind of way. But what I am saying is that don't ever think, because some dudes, I've seen some dudes say, yo, I'm not working there. Like, yo, you can stock shelves at night. I'm not doing that. What? What do you mean you're not going to do that? What do you mean you can't go to Burger King? You too good for Burger King? You too good to go and get a job where you have nothing in your pocket? So $5 more than what you have is not enough for you? So it's just like, yo, listen, I was making $7.50. Like, yo, who does that? But all I can say is that I went to this place that I had to go to, and look at what God has done and still is doing for me now. And it's only by his grace. It's only because of his mercy. So, yo, listen, I'm not the one to sit back and judge anybody. But I am the one that's going to say, listen, regardless of what you say, even in places that you don't want to go sometimes, it may be the very place that you need to be. That's just my take, because I've seen it.
I'm not saying it's a judgment. Everybody has their thing. Like some people only want to date someone that has a 6-figure job. Some people only want to date people who are 6 feet tall. So I mean, everybody has their thing, and it's not that it's a right or a wrong to that thing. But the question was posed kind of in that sense of like, not having is this having a job if you were with them. You know what I mean? So like if you met someone and you refuse to date them because they don't have a job, and then if they lost their job, that's still the same principle. Like they don't have a job.
But we're together though. It's just like that. You're not meeting me without a job. No, it was just a question. I'm saying. Yeah, yes. You're not meeting me without a job. You're not meeting me with me, and I'm just like, all right, cool. Like, okay, you're not working. All right, cool. Well, when you get yourself, whatever it is that you're looking forward to do, it's just like, yo, focus in on that. Focus in on that. But if we together and we rocking, yo, we gonna rock. But at the same time, too, you can't just rock with me and just think that you just going to lay back and not do anything.
Mike Johnson, he replied, he said, in our society, the role of man is as a provider. And the point that you're making is very true. And one of the questions that Pam asked in the very beginning was, if you were a man, could you handle that? Because there are some men that wouldn't even approach a woman in that situation because they wouldn't feel adequate if they can't provide, or if they don't have a job, or
Amen, Mike.
They can't do. But so yeah, your point that you're making is perfect. He will continue to fight until he reaches that goal, and eventually that's exactly what he did. But like I said, this article is not your typical man not working. I don't. That's the best way I can explain it. But yeah, a lot of men won't want to be put in that position, but a lot of men are very comfortable accepting that position. I have family members and I have friends that are very comfortable in the position of dropping their girlfriend off at work, waiting for them to come home. Jesus. And and they're fine with that. And there's not much more ambition than that. That's very different than this article. And that's okay. That's the point that I'm making. Like, that's very different than this article. So I doubt this attorney would have had the same resolve if it was the latter. You get what I'm saying? If it was the type of person that you're explaining, yes. like kind of like a leech.
Right. Yeah.
I doubt she would have the same perspective.
Right. Dope. dope, JB. That's dope. That's good. That's good. I know that somebody just said that it was something going on with the lines.
Yeah, I tried to check. They said you can call in. Again, 646-233-1302.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So I definitely appreciate y'all weighing in. Like I said, you already know I gotta put it out there. This is Pam's world. Pam's thoughts, Pam's views. But like, it don't mean that your girl is right. But I can say that sometimes I have a very strong opinion. And I sometimes I gotta fall back a little bit because I know that I'll be like, ooh, oh, okay, Daniel, hold up. What did you just say? Daniel said, I dated a woman with no job with 7 kids, but I want a woman who will have my back if I fell on hard times. Wow.
Amen. But that's key. Mm-hmm. But also too is like you want somebody to have your back. And there's nothing wrong with that when you fall on hard times, and most women will do that. Mm-hmm. But a lot of times, not a lot of men can't accept that. Does that make sense? Like if we both were working and one of us lost our job, if you lost your job and you wanted, and if you had to take care of me for a little bit, you would do that with a badge of honor, right? Mm-hmm. But if you lost your job and I had to be the one that was the carrier, a lot of men can't handle that. Yeah, they get you know. Like it's like the world is reversed. Like I know a few people who have an issue with women that make more than them as well. So it's so angry. It's a situation that I'm not sure why, because you shouldn't be in competition with the person that pride. You're with. It's pride, but it is a lot of pride and ego. Mm-hmm. Yeah, JB, that's the thing that, and you know what, JB, I can honestly say, like, I was in a relationship. And I was the one that was working at the time, going hard. Like, we was together. Like, don't get me wrong, they was working when we met, all of this stuff, and I became the one that was working. And it was just like everything was going like this. Like, all right, cool, we in this. Like, yo, like listen, like, I got you. Like, let's go. But like you said, jokers get angry. Yeah. Because you flourishing and you doing your thing, and it's just like now you gotta feel like you gotta dumb yourself down. They Bobby Brown. It's that Bobby Brown, Whitney Houston mentality. There we go. Bobby Brown and Whitney were equally successful in Bobby's world. Wow. And then eventually, Bobby was surpassed by Whitney in ways that that can't be explained. And you know, Bobby didn't accept that very well. How do you go from being the king of stage, the man, everybody wanting you, to being Whitney Houston's husband? I mean, that's a hard thing to swallow for some men. For some. Yep, absolutely. So it really is. This is good. It's a give and take, and you definitely, I can definitely say you helped to open my eyes in some instances because of the fact that this he was in a place that he was set. Yeah, he wasn't trying to live off of her, and that's cool. That's good. That definitely is good. But I promise you, JP, I'd have had this. I'd have been like, yo, you got to show me bank statements. You got to do something because I'm not doing I mean, but also, too, the other key piece of this is they've known each other for a very long time. Okay. Yeah. So she already knew his ethics. She already knew who he was as a person. Okay. She wasn't going into this. A newbie. No, it wasn't somebody she met online. It wasn't somebody she just had an Instagram relationship with. It was somebody that she knew. Right. And over time, they just developed this thing. Okay. And so to me, it was like, I don't know, for me, it's like, that's how you should look at all relationships, case by case. You should not go in like, oh, this has happened to me, so this is absolutely, I can never do this again. Because every situation is different. Now, definitely, I'm with you. I'm not going to want to be with somebody who has 6 kids and has no future. And I don't want to be with somebody who has 6 kids and works at Walmart, because there's no way that check is going to be able to cover yourself and your 6 kids. Right. So there are some pieces that you need to get together, right? But I'm to Sharitha's point earlier about, you know, if I'm with somebody, I'm with them. Mm-hmm. If I lost my job, I would expect you to be there for me. If you lost your job, you shouldn't hesitate to think that I would be there for you. Mm-hmm. Because it's a unit, not 2 individual people trying to one up each other. Mm-hmm. Right. And JB, you're absolutely right. I definitely agree. I can agree with that. If we were together and there's something happened in the midst thereof, it's just like, yo, look, we're going to hold down the fort. But don't get lazy on me because I'm holding down the fort. Yeah, but also, too, if you've been with this person, that person has a you have an understanding of that person's work ethic. You have an understanding of what that person is about. You already know that person is not lazy because you wouldn't have gotten to that point. And that's my piece. It's like, if I'm with somebody,
sometimes you find out some shocking things about people.
Yeah, but
JB.
if their work ethic was their work ethic, then that doesn't go anywhere. Like, they still have a desire to be. But that's probably why the jealousy stepped in, because that's different in this case. It's not that this person's work ethic changed. It's that person's reach wasn't as far as yours, and they got jealous and envious of it. And that's very different than work ethic, because they thought they were going to piggyback off of you. Right. Yeah. So that's very different.
If I had a bomb, I would drop it right about now.
But you get what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. Yep, I do. Yes, loud and clear. Yes, and the bomb drops. Mike walks away. Absolutely. Yes, y'all. You already. Welcome. Those who are just tuning in, thank you for tuning in to Pam's World. Alicia, shout out to Alicia. Thank everybody for their comments. It really, truly is going a long way tonight. And I'm trying to figure out, before I slide, should I play a song? I'm not even sure as of yet. I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to slide, but I want to talk a little bit about something, JB, that's been on my mind about just brokenness. Like, there is like so many different broken relationships, and I lately there's been a lot of like domestic violence stuff. Like, what? Like, my thing is, like, why is it that women feel like they have to stay? And we've seen it in the and we've heard about it. It is so prevalent in the industry. It's just like, it's so in your face, but then people are trying to hide it. They're trying to cover it up. They're trying to do this. They're trying to do that. And my situation is like, I don't want to name names. I don't want to put people out there. But why is it that we stay? What is that thing that makes somebody, and then too is some women that are abusive to dudes. So my thing is like, why do you stay? What is that?
I think a lot of it is insecurity. It starts with not loving yourself enough to realize you deserve more. And a lot of women stay for that reason. And a lot of men stay for some of those reasons as well. Maybe they're not the most attractive person, or maybe they found somebody they feel as though they thought would never love somebody like them. And then they will do anything to keep it. So that means even taking the blame for them beating on them, for them acting like they deserved what is taking place. And domestic violence is not new. Women have been dealing with these types of situations for years. And a lot of times when men were the providers, a lot of women felt like they couldn't leave because they couldn't work for themselves. They couldn't provide for themselves. And then after they have children, they don't want to take their they say they don't want to take their parents away from them. So they start finding excuses to stay. But I believe a lot of it is a cycle of what they saw growing up, or what they deem acceptable, or in today's society, how many older women will tell you all men cheat, baby?
Right.
All men get a little upset when they had a hard day at work, baby. Or what's that? The white man been beating down them all day. They got to come home and they got to let a little steam off. I mean, like, come on, dude. Go back outside. White man, leave me alone.
Right. Yeah, leave.
It's like, if you don't have the self-esteem to deal with it, you're be okay with being by yourself. A lot of times you would just take everything and anything. Like today we kind of talked a little bit about he's a running back for the 49ers. He was just cut by the 49ers 8:30 a.m. this morning, game day, because he was arrested for domestic violence. Now, this is not the first time. And you remember the NFL supposedly has a zero tolerance policy. So this was not the first time. So they have a zero tolerance policy with this young man. So he's been cut. But his wife, just like with Ray Rice, his girlfriend at the time, she was knocked out in the elevator. He drug her out of the elevator. Now, mind you, when they spoke about it, I didn't know it was that severe, but he punched her like a grown man, and her head bounced against that metal bar. And then she got up, I guess a couple days later, and everything was fine. She talked about how much she loves him, and they eventually still got married. Now, what part of that conversation or what in her head led her believe that him doing that to her was okay? Was it his paycheck? Was it what she got by being married to Ray Rice?
Jesus.
You don't know why people decide to say, and his wife was beautiful.
Yes, she is.
She's very, very attractive. She was not what people are unattractive. She didn't seem to be dumb. She didn't seem to be any of those things. But women, and the sad thing is that women tend to want to be with the bad boy. They want to be with the person that is a little rough around the edges.
Right.
Like some women, I've heard them say that, oh, that just means that he loves me or he's concerned about me because he's so jealous or whatever. And my thing is, if you're jealous and those types of things, we won't, because one, let me just say we wouldn't work. One, because I want to be able to move and do the things that I want to be able to do. I don't have the time for someone who's insecure in their own situation or spot, that they need to chase me around or follow me around like a lost dog or question my every move or thought or decision. So it's interesting, but I honestly say that a lot of it stems from insecurity. It stands from insecurity on the woman's part. Right. It stands from insecurity on the man's part. It makes me think about What's Love Got to Do with it, Tina Turner.
Yes.
Tina Turner thought at a point that Ike Turner made her. Right. So almost as if like this was just part of it. Yeah. But then once she realized that she was worthy of more, all she asked for was her name.
What's her name?
The one that she built. Yeah. And she's never looked back. Come on. So it's all about being secure in who you are. Wow. And I think that's for the men too. That's good. Because a lot of the men, they beat these women down as a way to keep them, to keep them under their thumb. So it's a really sad situation, but I would tell you, if anybody that's listening, watching, or listening to the replay, worthy of more. You're greater than what these people, because it could be men, it could be women, are trying to do. You can be and do anything that you put your mind to. You have to just believe in yourself. So when they're telling you that you're dumb and you never amount to anything, if they're telling you that you need them more than they need you, if they're telling you all these things, you're wearing sunglasses to work, or you're calling out of work, or you're saying you fell down the steps when you've been pushed. These are all things that none of that is love.
None of it.
None of it is love. They're following you around because they're thinking you're cheating or whatever. Have done nothing to make them feel that way. I always believe that someone who's accusing you of cheating, when you know you ain't doing nothing, they must be doing something themselves. Yeah. So those are all signs of anything but love. So I would just say, love on yourself. And I say this a lot, you know what I mean? Because it really does. It starts with who you are.
Yes, absolutely. And JB, I'm going to add this in then. So, you know how some people say, okay, you got one more time to hit me. You got one more time to verbally abuse me. You got one more time. And so my thing is that, is it one more time, JB, or is the first time the time to go? Talk to me like about that. You know what I mean? Because people like listen, like, yo, you got one more time. JB, is it a one more time or is it the first time?
For me, it's the first time. And the reason why I say that is because I believe that someone who really loves you and cares about you would never put their hands on you. Right. Because they would walk away first. And so for me, it's the first time. And wow. I've been witness to people abused. And I've seen the people come back and the crying and the flowers and everything be okay the next day. And it's not okay. It wasn't okay for me. It may have been okay for the adults that were in the situation, but me as a child that was in the situation, it was never okay. And it took a long time for me to get over certain things. But it also, what it showed me is that will not be me. And I know that's a hard line to take, But I love myself, and I know that I will be okay by myself. So I don't feel as though I need to be with anyone that's going to treat me in any way that I don't want to be treated. And if that means I'll be by myself, oh well. and that I'm truly okay with that. I'm not just saying that because I'm on the show, or I'm not just saying that because I'm here before you. I believe that in my life. So as of today, when I'm 45, I'm not married. And maybe it's because of that. I don't know. But I know that I'm happy that I'm not being abused. I'm happy that, because it's not always physical abuse.
Yes, it's that verbal.
A lot of times it's verbal. What? I mean, people constantly telling you that you're fat and you're dumb or you're stupid.
What?
Then you feel as though after a while that you're fat, dumb, and stupid.
Yes.
And then you feel as though that you can't accomplish anything. And then you start to tell yourself, well, he really loves me. Who you as somebody that's fat, dumb, and stupid?
Come on, JB.
So
come on,
it's really important.
Come on through here.
It's very, very important that you know what you have to offer and who you are before you start getting involved with people. Because once you realize what your worth is, you won't take junk. You won't allow people to talk to you and treat you in certain kinds of ways. And when the first time it happens, you will be like, no. I'm worth so much more than this.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't know. I really do think it's a very serious time. I mean, you see women being placed in shelters to get away from abusive husbands. You've seen people do orders of protection to stay away from people, and these people come back still. So I'm not saying it's always easy, but you know what is easy? Is when you first notice things before the stalking happens, before you've been in this relationship with this person for 5 years of him beating you. As soon as you start dating somebody and somebody say something crazy,
deuces.
No, what? You would what? You would slap me? Okay, no, you don't have to slap me. Just the fact that you said you would slap me, it's enough for me. I'm out.
Yes,
you know what I mean. And once people realize that you mean what you say, you won't have that problem.
My God. And it's something, I want to read a few comments. He said, like my pastor says, it's like handing them a gun because they missed the first time. And Daniel said, I dated a girl once that got upset with me when we argued because I wouldn't beat her, because she honestly felt that if I truly loved her, that I would hit her because it would show her how emotionally involved I truly was invested in our relationship. Jesus.
That right there is so. There are women who feel as though if you're jealous and if you're wanting to argue and fight all the time, that is love.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that is so far from love. But that is what a lot of women's normal is.
Yes, absolutely. And Kelly says my high school friend was gunned down by her husband, Jesus, in front of their 2 children. She died and her children have to live with that forever. God.
Yeah, there was a cop in a Newark, I want to say sheriff's officer or a cop. I don't know if I find the article, but he went and shot his ex-wife in front of his kids.
Jesus.
I don't think she died though, but again, that didn't happen in a bubble. There were things that took place before it got to that level. And that's what I'm saying. We're not helping anybody by acting like we're not being abused. We're not helping anybody by hiding behind closed doors because of the spirit of embarrassment, spirit of shame. I'd rather you be embarrassed a little now, but alive. Absolutely. I'd rather you be embarrassed a little now, but still have the ability to get yourself together where you can realize who you are and why you are worth so much more.
Absolutely.
Because once you do that, I'm telling you, you'll never look back.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm going to share this last one. Kiki said, as a kid, I witnessed my mom get abused once or twice. She said, OMG, anger that raged in me made me realize that I would never allow it to happen to me. And it's just like Drew says, my dad stabbed my mom in her sleep. Jesus. My sister and I witnessed it. Worst day of my life. My God, I send my heart. God is God is truly a healer, and it's just like the things that it is that we saw, and we witnessed along the way as children. You know what I mean? the stain that can leave. So it's just something I really do appreciate the kindness and the vulnerability that everybody is showing on tonight, just really just being open. And I really pray that if there are any wounds that are left, that God would truly comfort and heal, because it's not to have been through some things that can try to come and replay, you know what I mean, certain things. And I thank God for everybody's heart being in a place to say, you know what, I saw these things and I said to myself that I would not become these ugly things, but the things that I do know, the things that I know to care for somebody, to really love someone, to really care for someone, is the opposite of what I saw. So I pray that God will continue to bless everybody. And I really do appreciate the vulnerability tonight. I really, truly, honestly do, because it means a lot.
There was one that Sharitha posted. She said a former judge shot and killed his wife. He did jail time and killed her when he got out.
Yo.
So all I'm saying is that you guys, it's so important to
Jesus.
And don't get it twisted. I do understand that you can't foresee everything, but some of these things, these didn't happen in a vacuum. You know, there was years of abuse, years of allowing certain things to happen, years of allowing people to walk all over you, years of this. So anybody that's in need of prayer for these things, I'm telling you, out. Yeah. Because you shouldn't have to walk through this alone. You don't have to walk through these things alone. There, as you can see just from reading some of the comments, you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're not alone. There have been many people that have gotten this. There have been many people that have gotten through this. And I know for myself, I have said that won't be me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even argue the way other people argue.
Mm-hmm.
I say what I need to say.
Mm-hmm.
I get my point across. There's no back and forth. You can say what you need to say, and we can agree to disagree, or we can talk about it when I'm calmer.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because for me, I believe there's words hurtful.
They're
as
worse than a slap.
as hitting. So I also know that in the past, I could be very slick with my mouth. And if I wanted to hurt your feelings, I could do so very easily with just words. So I also don't speak when I'm agitated or angry, because I don't want to say anything that back, or don't want to say anything to hurt you, because I care about you. And I dated someone that was the complete opposite of that. They were a person who they grew up in a family where they cursed at each other all the time. This is how they dealt with things. They cursed at each other, then it's over.
Yeah.
No, not me. So you curse and yelling, and you're upset that you're not getting you're upset that you're not getting the response that you would get from your sister or your mother or your aunt or your cousin.
It escalated.
But then it gets escalated because you think because I'm not responding. So
it's like it's almost like you don't care.
Yeah, but it's not that. It's that I care so much that I'm not trying to. You know, I know what I can say to you would cut you to the core.
Yes. That would.
So
yeah, you know what, JB, it's something that I would never say never, girl. You know what I mean? I was the never say never. You know, that had never happened to me. And I remember it's just about how twisted you can think, because I remember there was a time when somebody that I was with, they told me that if I ever left, they would kill me. And I was just like, you know, oh, they really care about me. That was my mentality. Oh, they really care about me. Not really taking it in to say, hold up a minute, what did they just say? You know what I mean? I didn't take it seriously. I took it as just, oh, they really care. Oh, they care. That's crazy.
Yeah. But you're not alone. There are a lot of women that feel that way.
And that's how I felt at the time. And come to find out, little by little, it was just things that began to break my spirit. It was the words, you know what I mean? It was the words, or it was the, you know what I mean? You get upset, it's the grabbing me, you know what I mean? The grabbing me like, yo, you know what I mean? And it was that it became the, in my face now. You know what I mean? It became the cussing. It became those things to where it was just like, and that's the thing that put the fear in me. But now I have to act like I'm not afraid, because it's just like, now I'm like, I ain't no punk. You know, this is the thing that I feel like I have to show. And it's just like, it's something for you to say it, like, honestly, the grabbing and the fighting and all of those things, I really do thank God that for me no longer being in the relationship that I was in at the time. Because personally, I believe that had I been there longer, it escalated. You know what I mean? It would have escalated because of the unhappiness and because of and I believe that was just on both sides, the unhappiness on both sides, regardless of as to what. And it's something about how your mind could be so twisted in some things, your perception of things. And it's just like, I really had that thought. You know, I didn't never say anything to him about it. I never questioned it. I was just, and I took it lightly, opposed to me taking it for what it really was. And I'm grateful now to have a different mindset. And like I said, I know what it's like to be beat down with words. Sometimes I would have, if looking back, you say to yourself, I would have rather for somebody to have punched me one time, because the words that were said to me scarred me for so long that I had to. It was just like every time you try to get over a hump, the only thing that you can remember is that you're not good enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. I didn't have this. I didn't. All of those things, you start to, it just plays over and over and over again. And it was so much work that had to be done for me to forget. And not only to forget, but to believe who I am when I look into the mirror. You know what I mean? And I have to remind myself, no, I'm not what was said. And it was just like, it was difficult. You know what I mean? It was difficult. It was rough. But it's just like I say to anybody, like Joyce was saying tonight, please take it serious. Love yourself enough to know, like, yo, listen, this is not good. The first time is going to lead to another time, because if there is a first time, you best believe there's a follow-up. I don't care what you said, what somebody says to you, I'll never do it again. Yes, you will. And I'm not going to stick around to find out if you might.
And that's the key. If you love yourself enough, you won't. If you care about yourself enough, you won't. But then, the flip side is, have you ever seen, and I've seen this quite a bit, like two drunk people, they just fussing and fighting and cursing at each other, and next thing you know, they just be loving on each other.
All right.
But they both are dysfunctional.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's still not a good place to be. You get what I'm saying?
Right,
like,
JB.
I've seen women say, I wish somebody would. I'll punch them. I'll be this, and I'm going to fight you. And I've seen videos of women coming and beating up on men. Like, neither one of these is okay.
Amen, Jay.
Like, neither one of these represents any type of love. Right. I know it's funny, but there was a video of a man that was trying to eat this lady's piece of chicken on the bus.
Yeah, I ain't see it.
And it was hilarious, but they fussing and cursing at each other over a piece of chicken. There can't be any love in that situation. Right. You know what I mean? Because you calling him all types of whatever, you're calling her all types of fat. I mean, like, nothing in this is helping either one of them out.
Well, JB, it is something, and we're going to slide out of here on this one. With Jason, J Smooth says, a woman is a queen and deserves a king in her life that will love her the right way.
You a little Johnny Gill?
Come on. Yes. And that's how we do it here on Pam's World. Hey, y'all, listen, you already know what time it is. If y'all don't know, I'm going to put it up on the screen. We got to slide up out of here. Sensitive situation. Okay. And I'm so glad. But I'm looking for my girl right now, because I'm trying to figure out where she is. Y'all already know what it is. It's time for J.
Yes.
To the B. On Spudors. Come on, JB. Talk to us tonight. What's going on?
I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm going to keep it real simple. The Giants lost. That's it. So, the Giants lost. You guys know, we lost to the Eagles. It was 22-25. It was a rough game to watch because we were up 19-3. and it looked like it was going to be an amazing game. Barkley was getting the ball, touchdown runs and touchdown passes. Ingram had a fake hamstring injury. I don't know why he was on the sideline today, but it was a very interesting game. And again, the kicker for the Eagles kicks the game-winning field goal with seconds left.
Wow.
So of course this is just like, you know, I'm really just not liking the Eagles right now. But 25-22, it wasn't a horrible game, but I will tell you this, and I'm normally not a person who beats down on refs missing calls, because I know it goes both ways sometimes. But today there was one catch. I mean, it happened twice to Odell, but there was one catch where we could have had a game-winning touchdown pass. And Odell was held not once but twice on the same play, and the ref was standing right there. And those types of plays, they bother me, and then not just because I'm a Giants fan. This would bother me if it was happening on the flip side, because I don't believe calls should determine the game. Now, like I said, the little let them play type of plays, that's no problem. But you have a game right now where if you blow on the opposing receiver, that's a pass interference call. There's a flag. But how do you not call what I saw on OBJ? And that's not. I mean, granted, Eli did throw a pick in this game, but even the pick, if you watch the play, now mind you, it was picked, but if you watch the play, they're doing like a horse collar tackle on OBJ, the ball. So it was an interesting game today, but I'm not going to act like that I'm surprised by the call. Some people are very happy right now because the Cowboys are in first place, but that's all going to end on Thursday. Go who that?
You think so?
The Saints. Right, the Saints are going to do the Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. Everybody, please tune in, because remember last week I told y'all probably one of the best games to watch was going to be the Monday night game with the Rams and the Chiefs. Now, anybody who watched that game was amazing, right? It was a very high scoring game. It was 105 points. Now, this one won't be 100 points, but I'm telling you, this is going to the game.
JB, come on.
Oh, then that would be the Saints scoring 100. Because I'm telling you, this is going to be a game. Now, I was looking forward to this game when your boy signed with them, but he tore his Achilles, so he's not going to be playing. So now they got Brandon Marshall. So I mean, the Saints are going to win this game handily. And then I'm going to hear about all the Cowboys talking about how they still number one until Sunday when the Redskins win. So it's going to be an exciting week. The NFC East is just really bad. I mean, come on, the first place team is 6-5, and that's one game above 500. And that's not just saying this because I'm a Cowboy hater, but I am a Cowboy hater. But today we already kind of talked about Foster being let go from the 49ers. I would love to hear your insight on that, to see what you guys think of him being cut. Because, you think about it, Ray Rice was cut for one offense. This is his second. And he is a talent, so I felt like he was getting a pass because he was such a talent. But they let him go 8:30 a.m. this morning, and they had a game today. They wind up they had a game today. So I found that kind of interesting, and I know a lot of people don't think of it as a big deal, but I do. I find it extremely interesting that they cut him, even though I don't know, it was kind of exciting to see that happen, because the 49ers have had controversy with Colin Kaepernick and a couple other things. I was happy to see them make a hard stance, because sometimes people bypass what they need to do.
Somebody said your team is
I know. They were, I know. But you got to think about it. We only a few games behind everybody else. I mean, even though we only won 3 games, it's not over. And we're not mathematically out because our division is so bad. But I also wanted I wanted to get your guys' opinion about Baker Mayfield's comments after the game, because his coach was fired and he went to go he went to go coach. The former coach of the Browns is now an assistant coach for the Bengals. And the Browns and the Bengals played today. So they asked Baker Mayfield, what did your former coach have to say to you? And pretty much he says nothing. And because he said, I wasn't in the mood to talk. And I found that interesting coming from a rookie quarterback. Right. And he said pretty much like, how are you going to take a job for my rival? Right. And I wanted to get your sense on that, because I mean, the Browns did fire him. Like, what loyalty do you owe to a team that fired you? Right. It's not like he left to go to the Bengals. They fired him. And his stance, I felt like, was kind of like, I don't know, like a little snot-nosed kid. Like, you know, like he was like somebody stole his bike and he was mad. I wanted to know what you guys thought about that. In his comments, you know, of course, it's going to be all over ESPN tonight, because it was pretty much the way he said it. He wanted people to know that he felt some kind of way about it. But he said he doesn't hate. He said there's no love lost and that type of thing. But like, this was a coach that he said that his exact words, he's like, yo, he had us wanting to play for him, and now he goes to our rival. And I found that kind of interesting. So I would love to hear what you guys have to say about that. You know, but also so far what we have, right, you know, the Tampa Bay had destroyed the 49ers today. We had the Browns winning over the Bengals. Okay, we had the Eagles winning over the Giants. All right. We had Buffalo and Jacksonville. There was a fight that led to ejections.
Are you serious?
Yes, it was quite comical because, it was quite comical because the Buffalo Bills actually won. So I really believe Jacksonville, all those Jacksonville fans that thought they was going back to the Super Bowl this year because the Super Bowl is in Jacksonville, get a refund on your tickets, because that's not happening. Had New England beating the Jets. Now, I know some of my Jet fan people out there, you was feeling some kind of way when y'all was tied, right? But then, New England decided to show you guys who you are. All right. Okay. Baltimore destroyed Oakland. I expected Baltimore to win, but I did not expect them to win 34-17. You had a really good game if you were able to catch the Panthers and Seattle. That game was going back and forth. Panthers lost. So this is their first, I think, home loss, you guys. Okay, Arizona got destroyed by Rivers. And so that 45-19, Arizona Cardinals, 45-10, Arizona Cardinals lost. You had the Miami game. How many people expected Miami and the Colts to be close, especially since the Colts have been having a pretty good couple of games? The Colts won, but the Colts won only by a few points. It was 27-24. Tannehill is back. What do you guys think about that? A lot of people are expecting that they're going to go looking for a quarterback during the offseason. So it's kind of exciting time, you guys. You know, it's week 12 of the NFL season, and there's only 16 games. So that's what's so great about football, because every game matters. But as you know, you're a Tampa Bay fan. Oh, y'all don't know if y'all want to go with Winston or Fitzpatrick. Y'all struggling down there. But I won. But also too, y'all guys already know that I'm a Knicks fan to the core. Now I want to talk to y'all a little bit about my Knicks. I know they're not going anywhere, you guys. I know.
No.
But you got to love the orange and blue. You got to love them. And right now, they got a young squad, and they balling. If you got a second to watch them play, I mean, granted, it's some people are calling them a high school team. I get it. They don't have any big name talent. I mean, they have, right now, Hardaway Jr. is playing very well, right? But it's not about Hardaway Jr. It's really about watching the team just coming along and playing well together. I mean, like, if you watch them, they kind of remind you, and they're not the Spurs, I get it, but they kind of remind you of the Spurs, right? Like, they playing well together, they learning off each other, they moving without the ball, and they beat a couple of good teams. I mean, the Celtics is not what we expected, but we still expected the Celtics to beat the Knicks. I mean, come on, they beat the Celtics 1-7. They beat the Pelicans. Now, people are picking the Pelicans to be high up in the playoffs. They beat the Pelicans. And right now, we're playing the Grizzlies, and we're only down by 7. Come on, y'all.
What games y'all won?
Oh, we didn't win that many. We only won 6. But that's all right. 6 games that people didn't expect us to win. I think, Travis, you know what I mean?
Travis said they might get Durant next year.
You know what? There's some talk about
the
that.
The Knicks?
Well, he signed.
For real?
He signed a free
for
agent.
For a year? He gonna do it for a year?
We don't know. I don't think Durant is going to come to New York.
Okay.
I do not believe Durant has the skin to survive in New York.
Why you say
that? He had issues. Yeah. He's a great ball player. But I mean, he got his feelings hurt with Russell when he was in OKC. Mm-hmm. When Russell got hurt, that's when you really got to see Durant shine. You know that Durant became the man, and then Russell was not happy about that, so he came back trying to reinsert himself, and there was clashes between the two. And I really believe that had a lot to do with why Durant wound up leaving OKC. Right? So then he goes to the Warriors, which is a ready-made team. They already won without him.
Right.
So there's a lot of, flack about him, padding his stats kind of thing being there because they can win without him, right? But don't get it. I mean, he's an MVP of the finals 2 years, both times, right? So you can't knock that. But ever since Green went in his neck a little bit, I mean, they ain't win. And he can't make any 3-point shots. Is you that mad that Draymond has something to say that you thrown off kilter? You will not survive in New York. Not with this media, not with this nonsense, and not with this team.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You're not coming there with no instant.
He said he too touchy.
Yeah. And what's my take on Dwight Howard? I can't stand Howard. Now, I liked Howard when he first came and started playing, right? But he became like when he was Superman and doing the dunk competitions, and then I liked the whole thing, right? But then he became he's so in his head. He thinks he's so much better than he is, and so I have a little issue with Howard now. And I mean, like I don't even watch they doing him a little dirty a little bit. They did him a little dirty a little bit, but he kind of brought a lot of this on himself. You know what I mean? Like he kind of got that Carmelo treatment. Like he was traded and then he was bought out of his contract. You know what I mean?
Every time he turned around, he had a new uniform on.
Yeah, but that's because he's kind of high maintenance and he's a prima donna, and the rationale behind him is like if he don't want to play, he won't. Because when he went to Houston,
that's so whack.
That's what I got. He never lived up to the hype. Houston. You know what I mean? He never lived up to the hype when he was in Houston.
I didn't even realize he was on the team. Somebody was like, Dwight who?
Yeah, Dwight Howard. I mean, some of you guys might remember him from Basketball Wives. He was the one that had the baby with the cheerleader.
I can't.
But Dwight Howard used to be a great player. But ego and things like that, I feel like jacked up his career. So keep your eyes and ears open, y'all, to see what the Knicks are going to do.
Travis said? No. Some question his sexuality.
Oh, wait. Something new happened with Dwight Howard? Hold on. Wait.
JB said, wait.
Wait. I didn't see nothing new happening with Dwight Howard. Because, to me, he's kind of irrelevant.
Yeah, Daniel said, you don't know what happened? You didn't hear what happened? No, yeah. Oh.
All right. Okay.
Wow.
All right. Transgender rumors?
Oh.
No, Lord, I did not hear about that. That might be why he was so big on Royce. That was her name. The not being named in the show and not wanting his personal business to be out there. But I'm guaranteed if y'all talk a little later, I will have my real thoughts on this situation because this is 2 hours and 5 hours ago, so I missed this one.
He was busted last night.
I missed this one. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Man accused an ex-boyfriend, NBA player Dwight Howard.
Wow.
Quite interesting. Thank you for that. My thoughts are interesting on this because he has a bunch of kids. So I don't know what that says about him. Is he trying to compensate, trying to cover up. He's always been with a bunch of different women, and that could be something. But I'm definitely going to have a real take on this. So tune in, and I will let you know.
Wow.
But this is new. I didn't see this one. But because I was more concerned about the Knicks and the Giants, and I was going to talk to you guys a little bit about the 49er player being cut. But I know we already covered that a little bit earlier. But I definitely will have a little bit more detail on Dwight Howard. I want to make sure that I'm not just. I want to make sure that I'm not just picking the sensational story and not, following it through. Because I try to make sure that I understand and know all the ins and outs and what could be a little bit fluff and what could be added in and, what can be verified. So I'm excited to figure out this one. Who has a lot of ego and he's had a lot of issues. Wow. This is quite interesting. Whew. So for now, you guys, this is JB on Sports, but I will guarantee you, if you go to jbonsports.com, there will be a post about this. If you follow me on Instagram, there will be a post about this.
Dan, you said they got the video.
I see it, right? 3 hours ago, they posted the video on YouTube. I see it. I see the person who's allegedly making these allegations. Yes, I see it. I see it. But being that I haven't watched it and read it, I don't really want to give too much of my thoughts on it, but it's going to be quite interesting. So I'm going to put it back in the hands of our Pamela Long.
JB on Sports.
Yes,
yes, y'all already know what it is. Yeah, already know what it is. As always, I say, listen, JB on Sports. When I say that this woman knows sports, she knows sports. The S, the P, the O, the R, the T, and the S of sports. Hey, yo, listen. I was going to slide into something different, but I want to stay in this vein. JB, why do you feel like? And I want y'all to weigh in because your voice matters. I'm gonna hit you with a double tonight. JB, why is it that people feel like they have to hide who they are? You know what I mean? What's the sense of hiding when what's in the dark anyway is going to come out? Like you may not think you get over on some, but there are some people that can read through the lines. So I want to talk tonight. Weigh in 646-233-1302, 646-233-1302. I want to know, why do we, and I'm gonna put we out there because I'm not exempt from this thing, because there was a time when I hid myself from a lot of people because I didn't want anybody to see what was truly going on behind my closed doors of my life. I'm not even talking about my home. I'm just talking about me. I shut people out as much as I could. So why is it that people feel the need to hide? Why can't we just be who we are, just based upon what it is that some of the information that's coming out about this man?
Howard,
yeah, what is it that causes us to hide?
Well, I mean, a lot of people haven't decided to own up to who they are themselves. But I don't believe everything is meant for everyone to know. So there should be some things you kind of do keep to yourself. But in this case, he's an NBA player. How many men would want to be in a room with a openly gay, bisexual NBA player? There's been one NBA player that has come out, but he came out, his name is Collins. He came out like at the tail end of his career. He wasn't like a major player, right? Then you had the other guy in the football that was trying to be, his name was Sam. He didn't get drafted, but he played football, and he was openly gay. A lot of men aren't willing to accept that they're going to be this or that or whatever. So in sports, it's always been like a little bit of a
taboo
because what are you walking around slapping men on their behinds? You taking group showers, you walking around the locker room, right? And you're soaking in ice tubs and everything out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you're doing these things in the confines thinking that these men here are looking for women.
Right.
right?
Right.
My thing is that he has a couple of kids with various women.
Right.
So I'm more concerned about his lifestyle and the people he may have been dealing with. Now, maybe they know.
Right.
And we'll be surprised. Like, I'll say this. We'll be surprised what people accept. Everybody he knows may know this about him already.
Right.
Does that make
just been something
it might just be something that we're
this,
finding out.
Yeah.
But everybody may know this already. Because best believe there are women that will deal with that perfectly fine.
Right. And
the reason why they would deal with that is because of his money.
Yeah.
I mean, some people deal with more than that with no money. So, I really do think sometimes it's because we don't want to see who we are. Sometimes it's because we don't feel as though we'd be accepted if we released who we are. Because if you think about it, in this world, homosexuality is not very acceptable. Right. In a lot of people's eyes and views. Right. And some people may say politically correctly, yes, they accept that everyone is welcomed, but they don't want them in their space. You get what I'm saying? They don't want them on their son's team, or they don't want them in their son's Boy Scout troop. You know what I mean? But yes, everybody's welcome. But as soon as you see that, this troop leader is the one, my son can't be going here. You get what I'm saying? So it's an interesting dynamic. From what I'm reading, kind of spotting in this so far, it seems like he's full blown into this situation. Like this is not a secret to the people who may know him. You know what I mean? Kind of like, remember the Snoop Dogg video that came out with him having whatever with some other woman? Like, he's blatant. He's doing videos. Like, other people know that this type of stuff is happening. This is, you're not that open if you're trying to hide this from everybody. You might be trying to keep it from the masses or the media, but people in your life know.
I understand what you're saying. And then too, you know what, JB, even going a little further with it, I want to talk about the woman that's the teacher, but in her heart she really is the like she's a full-blown dancer. You know what I mean? The doctor that's the doctor that, she's the doctor, but she's afraid to let her hair down around her colleagues because of the simple fact that it's just like, they're not going to get me. Like, what is that? Like, what is that thing that keeps us hidden? Like, opposed to just being ourselves. I know that you can't let your hair down for everybody, but can you let your hair down, JB? Like, my thing is, like, why do we have to mask? Like, feel like we have to mask this?
But see, there's a difference between have to. We don't have to. People who choose to, because it's a choice. If you want to fit in, like if your desire is to fit in, if your desire is to fit in over everything else, then you will. Yes, you have to. But if your desire is to be you, and your desire is to be okay with who you are, then you don't have to. And that is the principle of what the whole lesbian community is all about. The people who are extremely, I mean, not all, but some people are extremely flamboyant, right? And they're extremely flamboyant because they're like, look, this is me, take it or leave it, but they're throwing it in your face. They're taking it to the extreme. But that's pretty much what we're saying. You know what I mean? Be okay being you.
Right. Just
but
be you.
But that's if you don't really want to fit in.
Right.
So it's an individual choice. You get what I'm saying? Like I believe in God, right? I may believe in God differently than somebody else believes in God. So we all say we believe in God, right? But if I go to a place and there's people falling out on the floor, someone may be like, oh my goodness, this is not where I need to, this is not the type of God I'm about. Right? And then somebody else may see people falling on the floor and want to fall down with them. You get what I'm saying? It's because that is okay in their mind. They don't look at themselves as saying, oh, I can't do that. That's not church. It doesn't take all of that. You get what I'm saying? What type of church are they? Or what type of church is this? What is going on here? But that's because people want to fit in. They believe church is going and sitting. Amen, Pastor. Father God, amen, amen. See you next week. They don't realize that some of it is about deliverance. Some of it is about breaking free. Some of it is about getting through. Somebody doesn't realize it's about the ugly cry. Somebody doesn't realize it's about the shout. It's about all these things. But if I'm trying to fit into the society norm of church, then I'm going to play this role.
Come on.
And that's what people do. Like, this is the society
Play
norm.
the role. Wow.
So I'm
JB.
going to play this role. And that's why so many people are miserable. That's why you
Come
got
on,
people
JB.
who have depression.
Right.
Because depression sometimes sets in when people aren't free to be who they are.
Absolutely.
But who puts those conditions on them?
You yourself. Yep.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like it all starts
That's good.
from there.
Yeah.
And some kind of way, I can't wait. You have no idea
Right.
how much I can't wait to dig into this, to go to the
Right.
TMZs, to go to all of the different places that I consider valuable information.
Right.
But you can't wait. And it's not because I want to be nosy. I just want to see what level that this has gotten to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Somebody who has made some very
Yeah.
I don't know, he's been a very arrogant player for a very long time.
Yeah.
So it's almost like people couldn't wait for something like this to happen
Yeah,
to
it's
him.
just like a
You know what I mean?
it's
It's like a
open
way to
book,
slap him and make
Yeah.
jokes about him. He's probably going to be all types of memes. He's
Jesus.
definitely going to not be in the lead anymore. I mean, his play wasn't. Say he's 7 foot, but he's solid. So sometimes your height,
Yeah.
you know, even though his game is not the same, he's still a big body that you can't easily move. So I know I'm just excited.
Right.
You have no idea.
Wow.
However,
Yeah.
it comes down to being that point of what do you choose?
Mm-hmm.
Do you choose to be acceptable by the masses, or do you choose to be happy and be true to yourself?
Wow.
And I think that's the bigger question.
Absolutely,
for me.
JB. You're absolutely right. And Danny she said people hide who they are because they aren't ready to face their insecurities. Travis said, because if you don't fit what this society considers as normal or acceptable, then you run the risk of being ostracized by this society and oftentimes by your own family. And Daniel said, and the crazy thing is this, that where there are so many down low brothers, it's almost scary. And Kiki said, the world is too judgmental. People are cruel. A lot of people won't accept it. And I look at this and I truly, I agree with JB like wholeheartedly when you said like be who you are in your skin, because when you don't, this is the stuff that you run the risk of. You know what I mean? You have to, it takes so much work to hide. Mm-hmm. It takes so much work to hide opposed to you just being, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like I'm learning, like JB, even with myself, there were so many hidden parts to me that because of the fact of me not knowing how to, not knowing who was going to accept me, you know what I mean? It's just like, you find yourself wanting to do something like, say for instance, right, I was talking to a friend yesterday and I said to a friend, I said, have you ever been in a relationship? And I was like, you want to be like free in this relationship? Like you could, like I could see myself like being free, but something stopped me from being free because I was afraid to be the whole me, because I felt like it wouldn't be received from the guy that I was with. And I was just like, dog, like I seen myself being like just like, I mean, like so like just free and just girly and just, oh, you know, that's like who I really am at the core. But at the end of the day, I dumbed it down and I stepped back from it because I was afraid.
But then whose fault is that?
Actually it was mine, but a piece like I can honestly say a piece of me started coming out. And when it seemed like it got rejected a little bit,
but
I was like,
but the piece, back. But the piece is this: it's like you presented yourself something else.
What do you mean?
Like, if you were putting in your box and you put this box on you and you weren't being true to who you are, so the person that they knew was this. Right?
No, I was being. I was open.
You said you said
I started off.
You said okay. Maybe I'm not understanding you.
Right.
You said that you couldn't be free. And then you started eventually trying to be little pieces.
I was in the beginning. I didn't have myself in a box, right? I'm myself, and it's just like it was the part of me that you're scared to show, and you show it a little bit, and it's just kind of like.
But that's what I mean. You're showing a little bit. You're not being true, 100% free.
Because I don't know how to.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, then if I'm presenting myself to you like this, I'm giving you basically me, but I'm showing you that I like to do this, I like to do that, and then later on, after you fall for me and after you love this person.
No, not. It wasn't so much of me. like not being like, I don't know how to explain it, JB. Okay. Because I'm me, I'm free, I'm being like, I'm Pam. Like, okay. I'm not trying to put on like something, but I'm talking about, say for instance, like when they come in the door and it's just like, you want to be like, yo, like you want to be this whole like I don't know how to put it, like you want to express yourself in this whole like way of like you know how, like, say for instance, like my dog. You see how when I walk in the house, how my dog is just like, he goes bananas. Like there was like times in the relationship, like I just wanted to go bananas. I wanted to go the whole extra mile, and it kind of, you get this kind of like, oh, hey, what's up? And you kind of just be like,
yeah, but my point is, what you're saying is right. I get what you're saying. Frozen. I think, right? But this is like, if you never did that, and then we've been together for a while, and now you want to start to do that, I would be thinking, like, what's wrong with you? Where'd this come from?
But this is, I'm talking about, this is the beginning of everything, and it's just like the
expression.
But what I'm saying
is, like, I'm just saying, I would be like, what's wrong with you?
That right
Where
there,
did this come
Joyce.
from? And you can either say to me, well, this is who I am, you know, da 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 da, or you can shrink back.
Yeah, I shrink back.
But what I'm saying is, though, it's like, at a point, it's like,
it wasn't a surprise. It was just that, it's just the layers of it. You know what I mean? The layers of who you are. You start to, you're free. Like, it's just like, you like, yo, we in this thing, and it's just like, yo, hey, and it's just, you like
to me, I'm not that. So for me, if somebody I was dating was to come and start doing that with me, I'd be like, what's wrong with you?
Oh, Joyce, that's like,
but it's not. But what I'm saying is, I would say that because that's not me.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not me, and I probably would not have gravitated to somebody who was like that. You know what I mean? Like all open and want to hug and be all emotional in front of everybody. Making a big deal.
Not in front of everybody.
I'm just using an example.
Yes.
Like for me, that like, so like if we was like this and we all was like, hey, what's up, da da da, and then all of a sudden one day I walked in, and I was like, what's wrong with you? That would be the first words out my mouth.
Right.
And it's no disrespect, it's no whatever. I just wouldn't expect it because it's never been. It's like, now, hey, if you said to me, you know what, look, this is such, this is who I really am, then I will tell you either, you know, I'm not that emotional like that. Like, I'm not that outwardly this or that. Do you feel the need? Like, are you okay if I don't do it back? Because sometimes you may be doing something that you would expect me to do. Right. And that's just not in my makeup. So I'm just saying, it's like I'm okay with being me 100% of the time, right? 100% of the time. So I've said things to people that people be like, Joyce, that was so mean. But I've had a conversation with the person, right? They know that sometimes that if you come at me a certain way or the wrong time of day, things may not come out as nice. I will eventually go back and apologize sometime or whatever. But they also know that's part of me. That's not me trying to belittle them or demasculate them or anything like that. Vice versa. There are times where I've been with someone and then they're just like, how do you say it? Like, oh, I want somebody that does this. Well, I don't do that. So if you want somebody that does that, then I may not be that person because I don't do that. I don't want to eventually do that. That's not who I am. You get what I'm saying? And it's nothing wrong with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well, but it's like being free is cool, but you just got to make sure that the people are okay with that new, because it's almost like
not new. Like, you know what, Joyce, what it is. All right, say for instance, this is my best way to explain it. Like, say, and this was, I heard a person explain it this way, and it was just like, yeah, like, and it blessed me. Like, say if you in the house and you know, like, you have this expression of love, and it's just a part of the love aspect, and you see like somebody that the person that you love come in the house, and you find yourself running up to him, and you run, and you see yourself run to him, and you jumping on him, and you like, hey, like the way my dog does, right? And it's just like it, and it's just another layer of who I am. But it's just like, it was a part of me in the relationship. I had to hide that. Like, I wanted to express myself in a way to where I'm just like, yo, like, I'm this, like, you have no idea how you make me feel. And I'm looking to express that the more of me, like, the more the closer we get, the more you the more you get of me. Is that all the layers start to peel back.
Okay.
And I was like, oh no, like it was almost just like, oh shoot, like.
So when that happened,
like like the glass broke, and it's just like okay, it's a part of me that's gonna be hidden. So
no, see that's what you can't do. So
that's a part of me. That's what happened with me.
But you can't do.
Yeah.
Because that's the piece. It's like if that's who you are, then that's who you should be.
But with the wrong person.
But what I'm saying.
It was not.
Then that means that you need to leave the person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. And maybe I'm not explaining it well.
Too late for me.
Oh well, but you get what I'm saying. It's like,
yeah.
But that's why you need to be who you are before you get to certain points. And that's what I'm saying. Is like, I know some people say, well, a lot of people say when you start dating, you meet their representative. Like you don't really meet the true person. And what I'm saying is that the representative may be the person that they fell for. And then when you start to be truly you, there's pieces of that they maybe not signed up for, or they maybe didn't expect, or they're not looking for, or things that they wouldn't have fallen for if they knew. You get what I'm saying?
Or
so
could you have jumped in too quickly?
Yeah.
And it's just like they didn't get the opportunity. You didn't get the opportunity to show all of you and all of those things. And then it's just like you
True.
find out like.
But that's the thing though. If you can't be truly who you are, then you're definitely with the wrong person.
Yeah.
Regardless of what that truly who you are is.
Oh.
Because either that person is going to help you see through it, or you guys going to come to some compromise. You get what I'm saying? But you have to be able to be who you
understand
are.
it. Yeah, they won't understand it, and that makes you feel rejected.
Yeah, but then if that's the case, then you're never going to be truly happy.
No.
Because then you're putting on an air and you're acting out a role for somebody that you're truly not. And I'm not saying it had to be a far stretch. All I'm saying is that now you have to second guess. Oh, do I tell them now that I love them, or can I hug them, or you know what I mean? Like you're second guessing your every move, and that should never be the case with people that you love and care about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a part of you that it was a part of me. Let me just make it personal. It was a part of me that felt like I can't show like that. I was just like, all right, so I get this part. I became uncomfortable with that part of me that I wanted to show, but it was just like I became cool. Like I was still me,
but you wasn't cool.
I was still me. It was just that part of me that said, okay, this is going to remain. This part is going to remain.
Okay, but when that got remained,
I'm not gonna show this.
But when that part got remained hidden, there were other things that you didn't even push to do because of that rejection. So what I'm saying is it's a trickle down. So you might know this thing because you got a little bit of pushback, but then you became guarded, and then you became where you didn't allow certain parts of you past a certain point to get it released. And then, but what I'm saying is it's not just one thing. It winds up being a bunch of things because now you're second guessing everything.
Yes, because
like should I say this? Should I say that?
Like you said, it's like dog. Like
yeah, and but that's key. To me that's key. Just actually being true to you.
Yeah, and you know what, JB, and that's the thing that I can honestly say. Like I don't want to. For one, it was a rush. You know what I mean? It was a rush. It was too quick. It was just that. It was just wrong, period. But I learned some things in the process of it, and this is another piece. And I'm so grateful because there are times when we really pull back and we hide, and we hide. It's just like, yo, I don't know if I'm gonna be accepted. I don't know this. And like you said, if you're second guessing that, if things are coming and they're making you second guess who you really are, then by all means, that's not the right situation for you. If it's relationship, if it's friendship, if it's whatever, if it's taking a job. Yeah, come on, JB. And so with all of that, it's just like, yo, really, truly, honestly looking at it from that standpoint.
Like think about it back in the day. Remember when you had the black people who could pass?
Mm-hmm.
They could pass for white.
Yeah.
And they would walk around, act like they white.
Right.
Sit at the counters, eat,
right.
do all the things that the white people did.
Wow.
But do you know they had to probably sit and what they had to endure to be able to do that? Probably had to call black people out their names.
Yeah.
Probably had to listen to people degrade other people who are just like them.
Jesus.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like what did that do to them?
Right.
So I just think sometimes when you do that, you do yourself more
a disjustice.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely,
Yes.
JB. Absolutely, because I know I did. Because I was happy, miserable,
Yeah, but
happy.
I say that to some people. You know how people get married, and we were kind of talking about self-esteem and abuse earlier, but
Mhm.
you know how people get married and they feel like they hit the jackpot. One
Right.
of the people feel like they hit the
Yeah.
jackpot.
Yeah.
The other people feel like they went down.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
So you I don't know if that makes I don't
lot
know
of
if you get
sense.
my point, but you know what I mean?
Yes.
Somebody feels like they hit the jackpot. The other person may feel like that they settled,
Mm.
right? And the person who feels like they hit the jackpot probably would be willing to do whatever it took to keep that person, right?
Mm.
Because they feel as though they have won. You know what I mean? Nobody thought that someone like this thought that somebody like this would marry me.
Mhm.
Nobody thought
Yeah.
that I can be this type
Right.
of whatever, right?
Right.
But then you second guess everything because now you're like, okay, am I good enough? Myself to the women that or men that they may be talking to that look
Mhm.
better than you,
Right.
or the men that they meet, women or women they may be talking to that may have some of the characteristics that you would think they would be attracted to. You
Mhm.
get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you constantly play it in your head because you're afraid to just be like, this is me, take it or leave it,
Mhm.
because you think they may leave it.
Right. Yep.
You get what I'm saying? So
Mhm.
it's like you put yourself in these boxes that are kind of impossible to get out of your own way.
Absolutely. Absolutely, JB. And it, you know what? I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful. And it's just like Daniel, before we get out of here, Daniel asked a question, JB, and I know that you are truly one that stays in the face of what's going on and the current events and all of that. He's asking something about the border and how he said, "What's your take on these the immigrants rushing the border?" He said Trump says they will use deadly force. They rushed the border at San Juan and Tijuana border, had to shut down the border crossing for a while. What's your take on that before we go out tonight, JB?
I feel it's very sad that we've come to this. And I do know so far they have not shot any bullets or anything like that. They did fire off tear gas. But when you see the images, there's a lot of young ladies with children that could be trampled. You know what I mean? Not just the tear gas, because you think about it, the tear gas is going, they can't see, everybody starts running. So it is very sad. But on the flip side of things, I feel like how Trump has talked to people and the things that he has done has just been they've been horrific, right? But they still should come through these processes the way that they should, right? There's rules and there's regulations for reasons. So yes, some of these people, I pray that they can get through some of the legal channels that we have available. However, it seems like every time I turn around, more and more of these legal channels are being shut down. You know, longer accepting applicants for certain types of situations. You had one situation I remember recently where a judge had a plane turnaround because they were in the midst of some type of complaint where the people were already here and the ISIS put them on a plane to send them back to their country while they were supposedly still having a court case. So I mean, this Trump White House has been making a lot of bad decisions and catering to the hatred that a lot of people have in this country. And to me, this is just a further example of the hatred. I just pray that no one gets injured. I actually pray that they stop trying to cross the border. Because at the end of the day, I don't know what he's capable of. You know what I mean? I would think that he would not have these soldiers firing ammunition at women and children and people who are unarmed. I would think and hope that's not the case, right?
Yes. Because
then you wonder how these people start to hate the West, right? You wonder why people want to blow up everything, and you don't want to have another situation where maybe somebody comes to the border with a bomb and blows the border up, and now everybody run across. I have no idea. All I know is that I've been from the time that I've heard about this caravan of people coming, I have been praying. I've been praying that no one gets hurt, no one gets injured, no problems happen. I have been praying that God softens the hearts of the people, that their cases will be heard on a 1-by-1 basis, no matter how many people they are, and see who can come through. Because I do believe that situations have to be dire for you to walk the miles that these people have walked for the chance of a better life.
Jesus.
And when you look at where some of these immigrants come, they come over here and they wind up working the jobs that most people won't want to work, right? And they're not making a lot of money, but they're risking their lives to come here to do it. So what does that tell you of where they're coming from? So I saw pregnant women, I saw 2- and 3-year-old children, and it's not the way the president is making it seem. He's making it seem as if everybody in this caravan are murderers and killers. Everybody in this caravan is not that. So it hurts my heart. I don't think you can see what you're seeing and not have a heart for these people. And so I would just ask everybody to just pray. I would ask everybody to pray. That's how I feel right now. Of course, I do understand we have rules for a reason. Of course, I know that you can't let everybody in. I know these things, right? But we had no problem letting in Trump's wife and her parents just got visas recently.
Jesus.
So I mean, I get it. They're the first lady's parents. However, I'm certain that they didn't have to fill for asylum, and I mean, I'm just saying this, like, they're even trying to stop the well-to-do people who have made it here. You know how before you can sponsor people in, they're even limiting the number of sponsorships. So they're doing things and trying things and making it harder and harder for people to get in legally. So what other options do they have? You think about the people coming from Haiti. These people are coming in Cuba. They're coming across on life rafts. They're risking their lives. They know that the percentage of making it here is very low. And on top of that, you could be deported. But they still come with their children. So to me, it just shows me how bad things are where they're coming from. So I just think you can't have a heart for people and not have your heart cry out for them.
Right. I definitely, JB, everything that it is that you said, I'm in total agreement. I'm going to ask this, I'm going to say this with a heart of compassion. In the midst of all the things that are going on, the sad thing about it is that some are coming with regards of having a better life, and some are coming with sometimes it's just like you don't know what you're gonna get with some people coming to the country. You know what I mean?
True.
And so it's just like on one end, what Trump is doing on one end is horrible and it's horrific. At this end, on another end, it's just like I've never seen a president that we've had try to keep out the amount of chaos that can come from someone that is not of this country. And what I mean by that is because of the bombings and all of those things that we've experienced and all of those things, the tactic is not cool. I think that you can go about things in a different way, but I say all that to say is that I really believe that some of the things that he is doing is supposed to happen to a certain degree, not the fact of how you are taking children away from their parents, how you are, saying that you're going to use deadly force. Like I don't agree with the deadly force against the people that are unarmed, people that have women and children and all of those things. You can have people, your soldiers, come and push them back and things to that nature. And like you said, to come into the right sense. And I know, but look at slavery. You know what I mean? When you look at slavery, they had to fight to get to where they needed to go as well. The Underground Railroad, all of those things. And I understand it. That's why I say I speak it with sensitivity. At the same time, too, yes, what comes from his mouth is off a lot. I don't even listen to things that has been said from this president, but I still believe that there is something in this that it's putting a stance in place to where, and it's like you said, they make certain passes. People do certain things for certain people, and it doesn't make it right, because you can do whatever it is that you want at some point sometimes. But I do say that some of the things are being put in place. Some people will second guess about coming here with their agendas, because of the fact that there is someone that's in office that is saying that he's not going to play with certain things. Now, if he's a man to stick by his word, I don't know about all of that.
See, there's a piece of that. The people who are coming with agendas, they're still going to come because they have an agenda. The people who are going to be turned away are the people who are seeking asylum, the people who are really truly looking for a better life. Because the people who have agendas, they'll just figure out another way. I mean, just like drugs get into this country. I mean, things get into this country continuously with, you have sex trafficking. You have all these things that are happening. So, I mean, everybody's not waiting across the Mexican border. They're getting in here the people who have an agenda, they're getting in. The piece too is like recently, there's something that you said that really stuck out to me. You said that the people that are coming in, you don't know what you're going to get, right? Mm-hmm. We have people being born here daily, and we don't know what we're going to get.
But they're here.
No. But what I'm saying is that it does not matter if they're. I mean, and the thing is, the last couple of people who have blown up things and have shot people up, they've all been born here. I mean, the little boy that was killed in New York in the Bronx, he was killed by a Mexican, some Spanish people who weren't citizens, right? But they blew that up because of the immigration wall that he wants to build. You get what I'm trying to say? There's been so many shootings, a lot of mass shootings. They have been done by white males who were born and raised right here. Mm-hmm. And the rhetoric that he's preaching gives these people the right in their minds to do what they're doing. They feel as though they are killing off the Jews or killing off the Mexicans or killing off the blacks, killing off these people who are not making America great. Mm-hmm. And it's because of the rhetoric that he preaches and he's speaking while he has one of the most powerful offices. Instead of bringing spirits of togetherness, he's taking that knife and just cutting a deep divide. You either for him or you're against him. Mm-hmm. And see, the piece is, though, there are going to be so much more that are against him because he's doing so many things that just common decent people cannot get behind. Mm-hmm. Now, I am not saying that there doesn't need to be immigration reform. I do believe that. Mm-hmm. I do believe that people shouldn't just be able to come into this country undocumented. I do believe that. Mm-hmm. I do believe that if you've been here for years and you've paved the way and you've done things, they used to have a thing where if you were undocumented, if you joined the military, you had an opportunity to become documented. Now, there was a man he's served the army for years, right? Now, mind you, they voted for Trump. This was their article. His wife was undocumented. She was deported. Mm-hmm. Her 2 teenage kids live here. Now, that's a heart-wrenching story, mm-hmm. right? To watch her kids cry as they've taken her on a plane to send her back to a place she has never been in 25, 30 years. Mm-hmm. She doesn't speak the language because she was pretty much born and raised here. Mm-hmm. Right? Now, those are heart-wrenching situations. Mm-hmm. Now, however, I get that there's rules. I understand that certain things, whatever. But I feel as though she's been, this is where she pays taxes. Her husband is here. This is mm-hmm. what they're saying, that he's dividing families, right? Mm-hmm. So this is their stance on that. Sending that person back. Mm-hmm. Like, what does that gain? What does that do?
Right.
Who does that improve? Who does that help?
Right, and I get you. I'm with you. Like JB, it's some things that I believe that is very unnecessary, and there are some things that I believe it's a necessity in, you know what I mean, in some form, because without any major stance, it's just like you can allow anything to come in. Like I look at Australia, I look at all these different places. Like you cannot get in. Like if you are not a citizen, like you cannot get into certain places. I mean, they are shut down, they are locked down to people where they can't get into. You are, and I get it, and I really do thank God for America, the land of the free. You know, regardless of all the things that has going on and some of the things that do go on, I still believe God is still in control. You know, so with all of that being said, JB, the sensitivity, I definitely am so sensitive to what you're saying because I agree. You know what I mean? And then on the flip side, I have to say to myself, but if there is nothing put into place, and I'm not saying that what he's doing is the way that he's going about it, the tactic is tasteless.
But that's the thing. There's things in place. I mean, don't get twisted. It can be strengthened, but there are things in place. You're supposed to, like when somebody comes here on a student visa, there is an expiration date, but they can go out and get the person when they don't go back, right? But they don't do that. So the person stays here for 15, 25, 30 years. You get what I'm saying?
But it's not the fault of, like we can't, oh God. I don't know.
No, but all I'm saying is that there are some things in place. Now, the borders, I agree.
But is he wrong for going in
the way that
doing
he's
the justification of it?
It's
like,
not,
you know what I mean?
See, it's not what he's doing. It's how he's doing it.
Right. And
that's what I keep saying. It's not what he's doing. What he's doing is fine. Right. It's fine. Yes, we should strengthen border control. Yes, we should strengthen the reason why people are able to get in the country. Yes, we should strengthen what we do. Yes. However, the way he's doing it, he's creating a fear. He's creating a hatred or superiority for like the white. You know, come on now. I have not seen so many white hate groups. Now, mind you, I might have seen some of this stuff in North Carolina, South Carolina,
in the open,
but down there. But I mean, up here in New Jersey, New York. I mean, Virginia. I mean, this is unheard of, right? Mm-hmm. You have people walking up to people in the street. These women are shopping in the supermarket. Just because they're Spanish doesn't mean they're undocumented. Mm-hmm. And you have people walking up to them saying Trump is going to send you back to your country.
Right.
You don't belong here. Mm-hmm. This is the problem. Mm-hmm. There is a hatred that is being birthed, that is being fueled, and is being fueled by the way he's going about this.
But some people already had. You can't put all the blame on him.
Some people
fueled.
Not saying that he's creating it. Okay. He's fueling it. These people now feel as though a justification,
they have a right
and they can speak to people any kind of way that they want. Mm-hmm. You have people calling the cops on people just for getting out of their car. You have people calling the cops on people because they don't feel as though they live here when they got the key. This is not heard of because the hatred and the fear is fueled by the speak of this president. That is a major problem. It's because love or hate Obama, he did not fuel drama. He definitely just tried to get people to include. He tried to get people to see past ideological viewpoints, right? I used to like McCain for the very same reason. A Republican, I don't have the same views on everything that he has, or everything that he ever said. But I love the fact that he stood his ground. He was respectful. Like when people wanted to call Obama a racist and all these types of things and call him, saying he wasn't born here while on campaign, McCain was not allowing that to happen. He's a very good man. I know his family. You get what I'm saying? So there is a way that you can disagree. There is a way that you can speak you can still get your agenda across without creating the divide that he's doing. And it's the way he is doing it. He is creating hate. He is happy. He's at rallies saying the very he's saying the key words that will trigger, like almost like the person that was running around sending bombs to people. His van is covered in McCain Pierce, not McCain, Trump Pierce stuff. This man doesn't even look like he's white. He looks like he's Indian or something. I'm sitting back like, yo, dude, how did you get twisted? But he has said it enough. Like, these Mexicans are coming over and they're stealing our wives. They're stealing our jobs. They're making us lives miserable. We can't work. We can't find good jobs. How many Mexicans are CEOs of companies? Is that the type of job you would prefer? Or how many Mexicans is in the fields picking fruit? I mean, like, do you want to go pick fruit? Like, so I just feel like the way that they're making this statements and the things that he's doing, he's just furthering racism. He's making situations worse. And I've never seen someone get into office with so many negatives. I mean, come on. Obama was being talked about because they didn't think he was an American. Like, they didn't think he was born here, right? Other people, when they're divorced, they'll say, oh my goodness, you can't vote for him. You know, we're Christians. We don't vote for people who's... This man has been married 3 times, has talked about grabbing women's private parts, has sexually abused women, has done a lot of the things that he's accusing these Mexicans of doing. But he's our president.
Absolutely.
So...
JB, I look at the situation, and like I said, his tactics, wrong. And it's just like, even the fact of, and I know we're a little over. Thank y'all for bearing with us, and we're going to slide up out of here. Is this, JB? I look at the situation and I say that, oh boy, definitely his tactic is wrong. At the same time, too, those that were before him, those that came before him, were they trying to get these things in order as well too before the hammer came down? So it's just like, you know what, sometimes it's just like it's a very sensitive situation. At the same time too, his tactic to me is wrong, but I really believe that there's a necessity with some of the things that he's doing. The necessity is definitely something that has to happen, because it's just like you standing there wide open. If you continue to keep yourself wide open, you can't complain about what's coming into you. You know what I mean? That's just like a woman with her dress up in the air. If she keep her dress up in the air and somebody just so happens just to come into her, then it's just like, why are you upset? You had your dress up in the air. And so I just believe that America really needed some things to come about, to where the things that were in place, they needed to be not just in place, but you needed to be acted upon.
But see, that's the thing. What do you think he put in place?
But it's just like, no, I'm to be enforced.
But what I'm saying is, what do you think he actually put in place?
No,
as of right now, he hasn't done anything but put bans on certain countries from even flying here. Just
enforced. And Joyce, you know what? At the end of the day, it's just like, I look at that and I say, just the enforcement of some things. It's just like, and it like I said, the tactic. But I do believe, me just personally, I just believe some things are of necessity. But the tactic of how things are being done, the hatred and the fueling and the racism and all of that, I will never be about that, because that's not my heart. But I do believe that there's a necessity in making sure that there are things that are enforced for this country. Because if not, we're standing there like with a woman with her dress above her head saying, don't touch me. And don't come into me. Don't touch me.
Yes, but what I'm saying is, even if a woman was standing there with her dress above her head, that still does not give people the permission to do whatever they want to do.
She makes herself open for it. I'm not saying
she doesn't make herself open, but it still does not give permission to do whatever they want to do. And all I'm saying is that there are a lot of things that are already in place. Things is he's using rhetoric to fuel a base. The only thing he's doing is talking about building this wall. That's it. He changed anything else. There's still people getting visas. I mean, why are they not trying to stop the women that are coming over here from Russia and stuff like that to give birth to their babies? So once they have their babies here, they're U.S. citizens. You're not stopping that. You get what I'm saying? Because these people have the means to fly here. and then once they give birth, now their child is dual citizenship, right? So I mean, like, you're not stopping that. Then just talk about him trying to stop birthright citizenships. You can't do that. That's not. I mean, like, so what you're saying is just because if you're born here, you're a U.S. citizen, right? So he's trying to change that. Again,
I didn't. His tactic wrong, Joyce. I said some things, not all things, just some are a necessity, and I think the protection piece. The protecting of certain things that go on here that'll stop everybody from coming in, but it's just like the one sect of people. If you're just picking on one sect of people, not right.
But that's what he's doing. Just right now, it's only Mexicans and Muslims.
And it's when you think about the situation as far as when it had come down to, and it's not by any means am I trying to say anything wrong about when you look at the bombings, and the most of the bombings that we've had has been from the ISIS and has been from that. So in some sense I can say that I can understand as to why he would have that in his. See, my thinking would probably is completely different from his because of where he is and what he's doing. But I can say that if I was president, and I would look at it and I would say, okay, from this side of the world, because we've had so many run-ins, I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to shut it down to it's a certain way that you can only get into here. I'm not trying to come against a certain sect of people, but what has been shown from the history of it is this is where major bombing has come, and I have to protect the people here. In a certain way.
I understand, but in some levels, there's too many things that he is doing that I just disagree with, that I can't even begin to accept any of it, because I feel like even the things that are being done with the premise of doing something good, there's a race and a business mentality behind it, rather than the country's best interest behind it. So I take a lot of it's very hard for me to be optimistic about anything he presents. Right. And the fact that he's very ego oriented, to the point where he's for things, asking what he was thankful for, he said himself.
Jesus.
So and all the good things he's done for the country. Whew. So I just find it almost impossible to embrace anything that comes out of this person's mouth with any type of pure and genuine motive. So that's where my position stands from. I don't knock what's being done, because there are some things that need to get done. There are some things that were already in the process of getting done, but they were being done in a more tactful and a more unifying way, rather than an elitist and racial motivated way.
Right. And on that, thank you, JB. And on that note, y'all, we're going to slide out. We, like I said again, in Tim's, and you will come back with that for the next show, because that's something that you're going to have to show me that. Definitely. I don't know if I agree with that. Yeah, I don't know if I agree with that statement. But for the most part, I thank you for putting one up, though. Thank you all for weighing in. Pam's World, like I said, does not mean that Pam is right. It just means that Pam has an opinion. Thank y'all for weighing in at Pam's World tonight. I appreciate y'all going over with us. We appreciate you. We love you. We thank you again for weighing in, even across the water. I want to shout out Drew from hitting us all the way from London, and so many others. Thank y'all so much right here on the American soil. We love y'all. We're here at Pam's World. And please, please, please make sure that you share, because it may be one thing to help to encourage somebody that did not get an opportunity to watch tonight, or either somebody didn't get an opportunity to read your comments, because it's definitely blessed not just somebody else that was here, but it definitely blessed us as well.
Amen.
And then too, signing off, Drew, definitely prayers go up for the Kim Porter's family. Shout out to Diddy. We love you here on Pam's World. And definitely, please, Lord God, we ask that you watch over the kids, watch over the family, in Jesus' name. And happy birthday to Kima. We love y'all. We out of here. Good night, everybody. Good night. Thank you for tuning in to Pam's World. JB and I, JB, I thank God for you. Yes, love you, sis. Let's get it done. All right. You know what? We're going to slide up out of here. And I'm trying to find that joint. And I'm trying to see if I can get it real quick. I see it in the corner. That ghetto love. Girl, that ghetto love. That ghetto love. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. In the ghetto. Take me away from the cares of this world. No worries, no problems, because I'm your girl, that ghetto love.